I'll open the floor. Any questions you guys have? Be about this or anything else?
Well, behind you is a poster that is called Christmas Cup. It was a film I made several years ago, and Mike DeMora came out and helped me with technical issues as far as, because I wanted it to be as technically correct as possible.
Right.
And I think a lot of people here have questions about, because we hear about, like these independent filmmakers that they go out there and they've got guns and they get arrested and their equipment gets taken.
Right.
So I think a lot of people would like to have some of those things addressed.
Yeah, the biggest thing for us is communication. Communicate with what we're trying to do. A lot of times we'll help out with that technical advice, as we did with Mike. We had a film crew come here from London. They brought over 8 juveniles. They wanted to put them through our BAM program. And they were here for a week filming BAM. And we had technical advisors on set for them and everything else. The things that we don't do, just because we have issues with it. BAM is Brevard Attitude Modification. It's for kids 10 to 17 that need their attitude adjusted. And so Jay and the team does that. We take them out back behind the bus and we beat them.
Got to get Emerald Lagasse.
Yeah, exactly. So no, it's actually a really neat program. It's kind of the first half of the day tells them what happens when they make bad decisions. The second half of the day, Jay and them spend with them, showing them what happens when you make great decisions. We've had tremendous success with it, so much so that a film crew from, was it Channel 4 out of London, whatever their big channel is over there, brought 8 kids from London to here to put them through the program, and now they're monitoring to see how they're doing from it. It was 3 episodes. What was the name of it, Michelle? Do you remember?
Banged Up.
Banged Up. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Banged Up. So
I was a PA on it. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, so we work with anybody that is going to promote the right message that we stand behind. We don't allow our uniforms to be used unless it's one of us in it doing the thing, and then it's got to be something we're promoting. It can't be just we're wrecking cars and chasing people and stuff. So but for the most part, communicating with us. It's also important to communicate with us, and I call this the lethal weapon theory. If you remember, I think it was Lethal Weapon 27, one that came out. They went to see his daughter on set, and Riggs didn't realize that she was filming something. He thought somebody was holding a gun to her head, ran over and punched the guy and everything else. We don't want that to happen here. So if there's something going on, you're filming something, let us know. Let us at least have the understanding that there's something taking place, so we can communicate it to our team.
I'd like to know your background before you were elected sheriff. What was your career prior to this?
So I'll start right out of, when I was in high school. Believe it or not, as a sophomore, junior, and senior in high school, I worked at the funeral home. I was an apprenticed embalmer and funeral director. And I always tell everybody I was blessed to have 2 incredible parents that made me and my 2 brothers the center of their lives. But I also had another dad, and that was a guy by the name of Charlie Helm that I worked for at the funeral home. Charlie taught me a lot about compassion. Working in the funeral home taught me a lot about compassion. Also taught me to have the sick sense of humor that I have, because a lot of us deal with stress and things through humor, and that's quite common in the funeral business. But started there. I was supposed to go to mortuary college. I was supposed to go to Gupton Jones College of Mortuary Science in Atlanta, Georgia. I was already enrolled, already accepted. I went out and rode with a buddy of mine who was a cop, a guy by the name of Ron Chapman, who just retired last week, as a matter of fact. Went out and rode with Ron that night. We got in a car chase. We drove up on an armed robbery in progress at a 7-Eleven, chased some bad guys through the woods. I was 18 years old, and I was hooked. I went and got a job at the sheriff's office, canceled being a funeral director, and started as a corrections deputy. I spent the first year of my career with Clay County Sheriff's Office as a corrections deputy. They wouldn't put you on the road till you were 21. Obviously, I was only 19 at that point. And so I went to Putnam County and became a road patrol deputy. Stayed there 7 years. I went back to Clay County for 4 years as an undercover narcotics officer. I had one of the best looking mullets you've ever seen in your life. I started to say mullets were in back then, but has mullets ever really been in? I don't think. But and then from there I got what was the second biggest break in my career, and that was I got recruited by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. And I spent 20 years of my life as a special agent, resident agent in charge with them. And then ran for sheriff. And I was blessed to run for sheriff. I was blessed to have the support of our former sheriff, Jack Parker, and the majority of the agency that was with me. And it has been a dream come true. I never thought I'd get to do this job. And so as I tell everybody, this job's kind of like going to Disney World for me. I waited my whole life to get here. I'm riding every ride in this park before I'm done. One day I know the park will close, and my wife and I will go out to where we're parked at, probably in Goofy 72 or something like that, and we'll drive up to the mountains to our cabin up there. But until then, I'm gonna be involved in everything I can, because I do. I said at the beginning, I love this job. I wake up every morning at 4:30, cannot wait to put this uniform on, and you see tonight I won't get home till probably 9 o'clock from there. So yes, let me go right here, and then I'll come to you.
I noticed in some of your productions you're having some sound production issues. I'm a production sound mixer, 20 years experience in the motion picture industry. I'd be happy to come in and provide training to your crew at no charge.
Oh, get his stuff. Just so you know, the people that produced a couple of those, we had sound, I fired them. No, I'm kidding. We would love that. Anybody that has that technical or just,
It's a tough thing to do.
I mean, you can see what I'm working with, this type of actor. You can see that I'm having troubles. But anybody that would love to volunteer to help us out, we'd love to have you. We'll get you into our volunteer program. Okay, let me go to him and then I'll come to you.
What permits are required of someone to be able to shoot around Brevard County?
I don't know the answer to that. I do know there's an organization that actually is part of our government. I think they work with the TDC quite a bit. Maybe one of you guys can answer that a
Bonnie
little better.
King, our film commissioner, can answer that question.
Yeah, hey Bonnie, I didn't even see you back there.
No, because if I feel it needs a sheriff, or if I need a police, it depends on the city that you're in or the county, and then I go to the sheriff's department and they handle it.
Yeah.
So if you were to set up at Irma Nixon Park and you didn't need a sheriff, you wouldn't need a permit.
No, you would, we want to know that
Yeah.
you're there. Depends,
Yeah.
Irma Nixon is, I think, a county park, and we just want a permit because we like to know that you're filming there, but it says it costs.
And Bonnie, isn't there some funding that can be received from the county or something, or the county gets or something? I remember something.
No, we don't have any film incentives at all in our county.
No, I thought that the county got some
We
money.
get money from the resort tax. the
Okay,
bed tax.
okay,
That's
all
how
right.
we're funded.
Okay, so Bonnie can answer that much better than I ever could. So, and Bonnie's worked with us on a few of our projects. We thought for a while there that Wheel of Fugitive was going to go national, and I just didn't like the way that was going and kind of just shut it down.
What about that other one we did in England? Did that?
That was the one we were just talking about.
No, that wasn't real.
Some of them are just outright hilarious. I mean, I have a feeling that one day, whenever, and I hope it's not for a long, long time, I hope you allow me to continue to serve as your sheriff, but I have a feeling that one day, whenever my time comes, those outtakes will reappear somewhere. Yeah. And it may not be the next day. It may be as soon as I'm at my retirement party. But we have a lot of fun. I mean, we are practical jokers. This guy is probably one of the biggest practical jokers I've ever worked with. He and I are dangerous together. And we do a thing every year. If you haven't done this, come do it this year with us. It's called the Haunted Jail Trail. And it's a fundraiser. The money goes to 3 different charities here in Brevard County. We pick 3 new charities every year. Last year we had over 2,000 people go through the Haunted Jail Trail. And it's a blast. Michelle and Lindsay and our entire community relations crime prevention team works on putting together. But he and I are the front to it. When you come in, you meet us, and we're usually trying to set the stage. I usually end up breaking and cracking up, laughing at stuff that he says. I'll give you a perfect example of that. Come here, Jay. So, speak Spanish to them.
Oh, Spanish, yes, my native tongue. Bienvenidos a bordo. Por favor, manténgase alejado de las puertas.
Anybody know what he just said?
Please, something or other.
That's the monorail at Disney World.
Disney.
That's the only Spanish he speaks. All right? Other than gordo, which he tells me means skinny. I don't know. That's the only Spanish he speaks. So we're doing the Haunted Jail Trail one night, and he asked somebody, do you not speak English? And then he rattles off that. And I'm thinking, I didn't think Jay spoke Spanish. It's so weird. And then he comes back and he tells me that that's the caption that you hear on the monorail when you're on the monorail. So, and I can't stop laughing. I mean, that's kind of stuff that we end up with. So right back.
The other question I've always been confused confused about is what is the relationship between the sheriff's office and then the local police?
Okay. Yeah, so the only difference between us is twofold. One, color of our uniform, and two, the jurisdiction that we're responsible for. So I'll use Melbourne, for example. The Melbourne Police Department is responsible for everything in the incorporated areas of Melbourne. They have no authority outside of Melbourne. They can't go out into Cocoa and arrest somebody, any of that. They only have arrest abilities inside the city of Melbourne. The sheriff's office has full arrest and full law enforcement powers anywhere in the county. So we can go into the city of Melbourne and do whatever we need to do, but they can't come out. Now, do we do that? No, because you heard me say earlier about how important partnerships are. We try and not go in other people's sandbox and kick sand without having them with us or having them as partners with us. And I will tell you, as citizens of Brevard County, you should be very proud of all your law enforcement agencies because we all work together. When I was with FDLE, at one point or another, I worked in all 67 counties of the state of Florida. I haven't figured out yet if that was a blessing or a curse, but I know I worked in all 67. I've never seen a county like this one where all the agencies work good together. The perfect example is right down the road here in February of 2015, there was an active shooter at the mall. And I know everybody remembers that. When I arrived on scene that day, but for the color of uniforms, you couldn't tell the law enforcement officers apart because they were working as one cohesive team getting the job done. And that's a credit to all of the agency heads and all of the people that are out there putting their lives on the line.
And let me just say also for filming wise, when we go to a city, we go the first person in charge if they need a police is the city police. If they decide that they don't want to do it like an off-duty person, then we go to the sheriff's department. And if we call the sheriff's department for the city of Cocoa Beach, the sheriff's department always says, ask the city of Cocoa Beach first. So we always go to the city first if they have a police department. And then, and if they don't want to do it, then we go to the sheriff's.
And that happens a lot of times just because we have so many more resources than they have. But we try to always be great partners with our police departments. That goes for the state as well. Our state partners, FDLE, Highway Patrol, all of them, we try and work with them very well. So, what else? What else can I answer for you?
Sandy, did you have some question?
Well, one thing is if they're getting ready to film and they're having, because often we have weapons on set. I mean, you know they're fake. But, and we're going to let you all know, of course, right? Are we letting just the local, like the Melbourne, know, or do we let you know too?
I would ask them to let us know.
Okay.
That's the easiest thing. Rather than you having to call every agency you might cross into, have them let us know. I can't speak enough about weapons safety on set. Obviously a lot of the stuff we do, we have our guns with us, we have everything else. We run a sterile set. When we go on, we just filmed him getting tased the other day, and he deserved it. He was trying to break into some people's cars. We caught him, but before we filmed that, everybody that was involved in that, I personally checked their weapons to make sure they didn't have any bullets. Their magazines were empty. The taser, I personally inspected it to make sure that it was a practice cartridge, not one of the real cartridges. Those are things that you need eyes on 4 and 5 times. And the reason we do that so much is even though Jay was going to be tased, John Jeffries, who was playing the role of the deputy arresting him, we're creatures of habit. And so we train to do certain things. And the best training, you know you've reached your training pinnacle when it becomes memory recall. Well, that's also very dangerous in what we do in our business because if John's doing something and Jay reacts, I don't want John to discard his taser and now pull out his gun. So we clear everything out. And then I check it, and then we have somebody else check it. If they carry a knife on them, we take the knife off of them. We don't want anything that could trigger a mishap with us. So I encourage you on your sets do that. Hold account. But let the police department know. But you're always welcome to call us. And again, Bonnie does a great job at communicating with us too on stuff like that.
I remember that one lady that got shot and killed when she was out
on a set.
No, it wasn't on set. It was a cop killed her. That they had a class.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was over in Tampa, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, Charlotte County, I think is actually where it was. Yeah. So.
I'm going to ask on the subject of having weapons on set. If you need to fire a weapon like blanks, is that something that you need to have an officer there with you to do that?
No, I mean, I don't think so. A lot of it's going to depend on the environment you're in. If you're downtown Melbourne filming something and it might create a stir, especially in the world we live in today with active shooters and stuff, I would say you want to have somebody there that's going to be able to show there's calm and the area's a secure area. But you know, if you're at one of the parks, you know, 9 times out of 10 somebody's going to call us if they hear a gunshot. So don't be surprised if a unit rolls up. But if you've called us and let us know ahead of time, they're going to be, communications going to be able to tell them that's a film crew that's doing that.
I
Let me-
use fake guns.
Somebody right here had a
and
question. I'll
posts
come back.
you can put it
Did you have another question?
in. You can put the shots in.
Yes, Rockledge PD does a national night out.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love, and our church hosts it. We'd love to see more of the sheriff's department show up for that.
Yeah, you know, we try to get to as many of those as we can. What happened on National Night Out is agencies used to do, like Rockledge would do theirs on September 7th and West Melbourne. And what happened is it became a national theme, so everybody does them on the same night. So it kind of spreads my resources. Plus, we have our unincorporated areas where we're doing them at.
Right.
So, so we try to get to as many. We generally what we'll do is we'll send the mounted posse to one, we'll send the bomb unit to one, we'll send aviation to one, and try and get them. But if you call Lindsay Deaton, she's our community relations manager.
Or
and,
even rotate it a little bit.
Yeah, and Lindsay will try and get some resources there.
If, okay, somebody's got the weapons on set, they fire it, you're called, and you show up, advice for people on set, what should they do? I mean, if they're holding that weapon,
Right.
you
Yeah.
don't want
Run.
them moving towards you, like, what you
No
don't
runs.
do, like, where everything is, like,
Yeah, the number one word that I use with anything, whether you're filming or you've had to engage somebody that's trying to harm you in your concealed weapon, the number one word I use is compliance. When our team shows up and they tell you to put that down, put it down. If you can secure it, if the scene is secure, so let's say you're in the middle of an active shooter or something's happened and you're a concealed carry permit holder, if the scene is secure and you can secure your weapon, that's even better. But if not, it comes down to compliance. So our team's going to do a great job at verbalizing. They're going to do a great job at telling you to put it down. But even then, anxiety's high and everybody's amped. So compliance is the main thing.
What, do you treat it differently if you see all the cameras there and people there, or do you automatically just come up and just assume that there is a chance that
Well,
there's something?
in today's world, we have to look at it through every angle. So ideally, when we pull up, you know, it would say, you know, TV or film crew, we'd see the cameras and everything else. But to be honest, when you're responding to an active shooter, you become tunnel visioned. You're looking for the suspect, you're looking for the carnage that's taking place. So, you know, the more markings you have, the more communication you can have with us. Having security, you know, somebody, even if it's just a member of your team that's got a security vest on, that our team recognizes and can identify with, it always helps in that regard.
And
Go ahead, Sandy.
I was just gonna say, we can arrange either through the city or from you to maybe hire a deputy.
Bonnie, you handle that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, you can hire us off duty. Like Bonnie said, we try and do it in the unincorporated areas and leave the others to our partners. But a lot of times they don't have the resources to do it, and so we'll have the extra resources to do it.
I recently heard about a film group that had their equipment confiscated by the police. What would we do wrong that would cause us to have our equipment confiscated?
Nothing. We needed some extra equipment in our media studio.
And your camera worked.
Jay worked that case. He wrote that up, and we got a conviction on that. Didn't we?
Yeah.
Good
Probably
job.
took you a while to find just the right.
Yeah, we needed some. Yeah, so, I can't imagine what a film crew would do to.
It didn't.
You know,
It didn't say why, but
yeah, I mean, I can't fathom that.
Maybe
You know,
trespassing or something.
yeah, I mean, maybe trespassing or something of that nature. Maybe they were, you know, at the Air Force Base, or I'm just speculating because really and truly, there's nothing I can think of that would make our agency do something
I
of
just
that
thought of something
nature.
we discussed one time. If you have to have fake
guns or something.
pot or something, I mean, is there any way to get in trouble for having fake?
I gotta be honest with you, the way the world's going, I'm not sure you gotta have fake anymore.
You heard it there. You just heard it there.
And anybody that knows me knows
Just
that
a
I
little
am
snippet, that's all we need.
diabolically opposed to legalizing marijuana, but that's all right. So, you know, again, it goes back to communication. We want everybody to follow the law, to obey the law, and whether it's firearms, whether it's drugs, even our animals, you know, we use a lot of animals in sets and everything else, making sure that we're following all the rules and procedures with them. I mean, I know you had a question.
It kind of relates to the trespassing thing, and it also might be a Bonnie question. But for example, if you're filming just somebody walking down the street, let's say in downtown Titusville, you're just filming that person, what kind of like rules are there for that in regards to just filming somebody? Like, are people going to be like, oh, you can't film this and blah, 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 or asking
Well,
questions?
I think you'll probably always have somebody that does that. You know, for us, when we're filming something, we always try and get a permission form to have, or we blur out their face so it doesn't show. Like when you see riding shotgun, we'll blur out a lot of the faces and stuff from it. But I don't know, Bonnie, can you answer that?
We do the same thing. Like, if you're going to shoot, let's say you're downtown Cocoa Village, we just want to know that you're going to be there so that we alert the Cocoa Village merchants that this is happening. So, because they always ask questions. When people see people with a camera, the phone calls come in, like, what are they doing? They think some movie's in town or whatever, but we just like to know. So, do you need a permit for it? No. It's like if you go to the beach and you take pictures of the kids, you don't have to have a permit for that. So if we do B-roll footage all the time, we just want to know that you're doing it, so that when the phone rings, we can be able to say that they're doing an independent film.
Isn't the sidewalk public property?
I like your shirt,
So I mean, if you're on the sidewalk, you can set up your sticks and shoot.
I would think you can,
Yeah,
you know.
you can, but again.
That's national, anywhere in the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
We
Sidewalk
still want to
is
know
always-
that you're doing it, because someone's going to
Right.
call and ask a question, or if you're outside somebody's store, they're going to say, what are you doing in front of my store? You know, so in order to just save face, but no, so you don't need a permit or anything like that, but we just like to know if
Yeah.
any filming is going on like that.
It's funny, whenever we're filming stuff, because we film a lot of stuff obviously out on the street and everything,
And I
whenever
never
we're
know
filming,
they're out on the street.
Huh?
I got the permit, so I never know anything.
when we're filming stuff, it's funny, people do not want to walk behind us because they don't know what we're filming. And so now they'll stop and watch us and stuff, but a lot of times you'll see them go all the way across to the other side of the street to get away from the film crew. So, but all right, anything else that I can ask before I close out? Well, I'll close out right where I started, and I think I can speak for Michelle and Jay. Thank you for all of your amazing support for our agency. We are blessed to live in this community. We're blessed to work in this community. There's no place else like it, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity to serve you here. So thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Junie is available for photos if you'd like to come take a photo with me.
Well, do we get to take photos of you?
Sure.